I have two friends, Gabby and Shelley. All of us are 23, if that matters. We were roommates in college and stayed in the same city after graduation. While the three of us are close, I've always known that Gabby and Shelley are the closest. They have a really sweet friendship. Shelley is getting married. Gabby is the maid of honor and I'm one of the bridesmaids. Over the weekend, I went with Shelley so she could look at wedding dresses. Gabby was supposed to come with us but got called into work last minute. I helped Shelley pick out some dresses, then she went with the consultant to try them on. Shelley asked that I take pictures and videos on her phone to send to her mom and Gabby. I was getting the camera ready when a text from Gabby came through. I didn't mean to click on it and was instantly going to click back out when I saw one of my Instagram pictures in their private chat from earlier that morning. Both were making fun of me for the face I was making and my outfit choice. It didn't appear to be very good nature. I admit, curiosity got the best of me, so I searched my name in the chat. I found multiple pictures that I, my boyfriend or my mom have posted of myself, absolutely ripping them to shreds. Ranging from selfies to posed shots to even a few baby pictures. They'd also make fun of me in general in terms of the way I talked, wore my hair and the way I ate. This went back as far as I could tell, at least a year. My heart broke. It all felt so juvenile and high school. While we all joke around, I would never do this to them, nor have they ever even tried to instigate these types of conversations with me about the other one-on-one. I was in tears. As someone who was bullied all through middle and high school, it just brought me back to a horrible place. I put the phone in Shelley's purse and brought it to another employee, telling her to tell Shelley that I had to go. I drove home and had a long cry. Shelley texted me by the time I made it home asking where I went. I said I was going home and we could talk later. When she did call a few hours later, she was understandably confused and hurt that I left. I told her what I found, explaining that I only looked further because of the initial text I accidentally saw. She went off on me for looking through her private texts and said those were none of my business. She also told me I shouldn't have left the store without saying anything. I said I didn't want to make a scene but also knew I couldn't fake being happy for her. Shelley told me the texts were all in good fun and clearly she loves me because I'm going to be her bridesmaid. She added that I'm only hurt because I chose to read all those texts. Later on, Gabby called to tell me that I invaded Shelley's privacy and hurt her by walking out. My boyfriend and mom think I did the right thing by walking out. But obviously, they're a little biased. I just want some unbiased looks. Was I an asshole to look through the texts and then leave? Comment 1. NTA: if I was in your place, I think I'd drop out of being in the wedding. It's one thing to jokingly make fun of someone one time, but seems like they have done this to you a bunch of times. And it doesn't seem like it was light-hearted. If I was you, I wouldn't feel bad about looking through those messages at all. She handed her phone to you and feels like fate took the opportunity to expose them to you for who they are. Comment 2. NTA: neither of these girls are your friend. They are deceitful, mean girls who didn't even have the decency to apologize after you found out that they were being mean to you and secretly ganging up on you. They are bullies and you are doing a disservice to yourself to continue relationships with either of them. Take out your phone, block their numbers, and take the time to find real friends who love and respect you. You don't need them and they certainly don't value you, so don't give them a single second more of your energy. Love yourself and respect yourself enough to know that you deserve better. Comment 3. NTA: first off, I think you handled it well by not making a scene. Second, it's a grey area as far as you looking through her phone beyond just the one message you saw. I can't say if I would do it or not. However, joking or not, for them to have been making fun of you for that long is not okay. Friends don't do that to each other. The only reason both of them got upset is because they got caught. When someone shows who they really are, believe them. Likely that went on a lot longer than just a year. You deserve better than people who talk about you behind your back with fake smiles on their faces. My 38F daughter, 13F, has been playing this game called Roblox since lockdown first started as a way of playing with her friends virtually as well as curing her boredom. She was obsessed with this Roblox game that's set in a school because she missed her friends so much and it allowed her to stay connected with them. Her interest in video games has developed into an interest into technology. She's by far at the top of her IT class and has even started learning how to code in order to make her own game. My sister, 34F, and niece, 10F, have recently had to move in with us after my sister discovered that her husband was having an affair. They're staying at my house for the time being while she saves up money for a place of their own. My niece and daughter usually get along, and they both bond over their interest in Roblox. Last week, my daughter was completely distraught and crying non-stop. She said that she saw her cousin playing on a Roblox game and realized her cousin's avatar had a lot more items than usual. She decided to join her, only to realize that her account had been hacked and she'd lost nearly every item she had on her favorite Roblox game. She'd lost 800k of the in-game currency and nearly her entire inventory, which she claimed was worth over 5 million of the in-game currency. She had spent the last 4 years saving up for those items and everything was gone just like that. My daughter began accusing my niece of hacking her account. My niece denied it at first, but quickly broke under pressure and admitted everything. The previous day, they had been playing the game together when I called them down to dinner. My niece has only been playing for a few months and I suppose she would be considered a noob. She begged my daughter to give her some of her items, and my daughter refused, saying that she should earn the items by herself. When my daughter came down, my niece decided to stay behind for a minute to transfer all of my daughter's items into her account. I tried to mediate the situation, but my sister is refusing to cooperate. She told me that it's only a game, it's not like my daughter spent real money on it. I attempted to explain just how much this game means to my daughter, to which my sister said that my daughter should count herself lucky that her biggest problem is a bunch of pixels on a screen. She said my daughter was a teenager now and was too old to be acting this immature over a game. My niece refuses to give my niece her stuff back and says it's unfair that my daughter gets to have everything she wants both in real life and online. I told my sister and niece that both of them were acting like ungrateful brats considering how I was letting them stay in my home rent-free. Today, I gave her an ultimatum: if my niece doesn't return everything she hacked from my daughter, they would both have 1 week to leave. I told her that I refused to let anyone disrespect my daughter under my roof. Comment 1. NTA. I am so glad that you understand the value of time and effort your daughter has put into this collection, and the value of that to her. Compare it to stealing a collection of crafted items someone had made offline that they felt was precious to them, that they spent time and effort putting together. If your sister can't respect your daughter's time and effort, then she can leave your home. Comment 2. NTA. I know what game you're referring to. The terms of service for the game state that you can be banned for hacking or tricking someone into giving you their items. If the current ultimatum doesn't work, tell the niece you'll contact the developers of the game who will ban her account from the game. However, keep in mind that should you actually contact the developers of the game and get the niece's account banned, it will also remove any possibility of regaining items that were traded from your daughter's account to the niece's. Comment 3. NTA. My daughters play Roblox and are very proud of the stuff they get. They are much younger than those girls who are definitely new to the game, but I would be pissed if anyone hacked their accounts. Your sister is the ass for refusing to make her daughter return the stuff. I don't understand these parents who think it's okay to teach their kids that stealing is okay. I am a 52M recently separated from my ex, 49F. Of 18 years we share custody, week on, week off, with our 2 children, a 13-years-old daughter and soon-to-be 15-years-old son. The relationship ended mostly amicably, no one cheated on each other, as far as I know, just drifted apart, friend-zoned. When we split we agreed that I would stay in our old 4BDRM family home for a few more years. While our kids were still at high school, we lived right next door to my son's high school. I would continue to pay down our mortgage, on my own, and also pay for any additional renovations, on my own, that we still have left to complete, since buying the place 4 years ago. When the time comes to sell, she will get her 50%. She agreed to move out into her own 3-bedroom rental out by the beach. I am paying her child support, as she only earns about 1/3 of what I do in her part-time, 30 hours/WK, job. The rest of her income comes from government social support. We have a joint bank account where we both put money into to cover the kids' general needs. This week is my son's 15th birthday. He's big into gaming, basketball and fishing. When he moves between our two places, he brings his Xbox with him. I have paid for 2 computer monitors, one at each property, just so he can do this easily and be happy. He has a homemade basketball hoop that he helped me build and paint for him when he was a young 10-year-old lad, mounted on the outside of my house for him to practice whenever he stays with me. My ex emailed me to ask me what I think we should get him for his birthday, i.e. share costs for. She listed 2 things. Firstly, a freestanding basketball hoop, and a gaming chair, all up around $1,000 total, both to be used only at her place, for his enjoyment there. I've refused to help her buy these particular options. I'd prefer it if we spent our money on something that he'll enjoy getting the benefits from wherever he may be, like new clothes, a new device, a new bike, fishing gear etc., or a shared family experience with both of us present. I thought that was reasonable. My ex-wife thinks I'm being a jerk with this stance, for not agreeing to pay anything for these particular presents, to help furnish her house or his bedroom there. She's suggesting that it's not fair that he can play basketball at my place and not hers, or that he feels more comfortable playing video games at my place and not hers. She's now accusing me of starting to play some kind petty tit-for-tat game with her, by not fairly contributing enough towards my son's happiness on his birthday. My fear is that I am indeed being unnecessarily picky with this battle, being too selfish, and denying her the right to be able to make her home as happy or as comfortable as mine, for my son to live in. Comment 1. NTA. First up, he's 15, you don't need Wii presents. Secondly, it's convenient that she wants you to pay for something he already has at your house, to be installed at her home, and a second gift for her space. One of the things I learned is that the kids will not remember or care who paid for what, but money they will remember which parent they had experiences with, and which parent made their home a comforting place for them. Don't invest in your ex's space, unless you think it really serves your son over something you can do with him or he can have at your home. As long as you are fairly paying child support, it's on her to provide as well. You have no duty to make anything equal. That being said, buy your son something you think he will truly enjoy. Comment 2. I totally disagree. My parents separated when I was very young. My dad always had money. My mum was always broke. My dad would not give me a gift to be used at my mum's. So, better clothes, VCR, bike, only when him. I firmly believed he was doing this so I would think he was best. In reality, I was always mad about. Today my wife gave our 11-year-old son some blueberries. My son said that he rather not eat them because he doesn't really like blueberries. My wife replied, but these are really good, so my son hesitantly tried one blueberry and replied, THX, but I still don't like them and rather not eat the rest. I thought that was the end of it, and went to the store to get groceries for dinner. When I came back my son was crying at the table because he was forced to eat the remaining 3 blueberries. I asked my wife, why is he crying? And she explained that he had to eat the blueberries because it is healthy. Thinking it was just about eating a piece of fruit, I told my son that he didn't have to eat the blueberries, but he did have to eat another piece of fruit instead, like an apple or 3 strawberries or something similar. My son immediately agreed, spat out the blueberries in the garbage can, and started eating an apple. This, much to my wife's dismay. She said I overruled her authority and that my son will never learn to eat healthy. My reply was that it is not okay to force a child, or any other person, to eat something they don't like, especially after they tasted it. How would she feel if I forced her to eat something she doesn't like? Why is it okay for her to not eat certain foods but not for our son? He likes enough vegetables and fruit in order to get a balanced diet, so I think we should meet him halfway and not focus on forcing him to eat stuff we know he doesn't like. And he is not really a fussy eater, so we have plenty of healthy stuff to choose from. The situation escalated, and at one point my son even said, "I'll just eat the blueberries," in an attempt to de-escalate our argument, after which he took 3 blueberries from the fridge and swallowing them almost whole just to get it over with. Sadly for him, it didn't really work because we were already too far into the argument, although I did thank him afterwards for trying and apologized for not being able to let it slide. Comment 1. NTA: being able to control your own eating and not eat when you are full or not hungry or you don't like it, an important skill. Your wife is teaching your son to ignore his own body. That's a bad idea. There is no rational reason why a different kind of fruit should not have been enough. It's one thing to teach healthy eating and portion control, but forcing him to eat foods he hates could teach him that healthy eating means discomfort, and could have very unpleasant outcomes. Your wife needs to learn what healthy eating is, and that includes stopping when you are full or don't want anymore. Comment 2. NTA: my dad insisted on making fish 3 times per week for years after I stopped being able to swallow it without gagging. Because fish is healthy. You used to like it. Okay, but my throat would close up and my diaphragm would involuntarily spasm when I put fish in my mouth and tried to chew. How many times and how much is enough for you to listen to your son when he says he doesn't like something? What does that teach him about mindlessly respecting authority and ignoring his own mind and body? Nothing good. Comment 3. My brother simply can't eat green beans. My dad forced him once, he threw up all over the table, he was never forced again. Turns out, my grandpa, on my mum's side, couldn't eat them either, same reaction, guess it was some kind of intolerance they shared.